Hey, great. Good Wednesday morning. It is an awesome day in the city of Brownsville, and I've got this one AirPod in because I'm hoping that it'll click on because it's not working right. My AirPods are not connecting to the computer. So I'm hoping that it connects sooner or later. But it gives us time to have Christopher Goodrich is coming on with us. He's just taking his sweet time. No, again. Chris is out there in Spain, Valencia. Está en Valencia, Spain. So it's taking him a little while to get on. So we'll wait a little bit. Hola, Mary Lou. Good morning, Pedro. How you doing, my man? And good to see you, Pedro. Good to see you, Mary Lou. And again, I'm going to give up on my AirPods. Gonna give up on my AirPods. Anyway, guys, yesterday we had a very interesting show. Buenos dias, buenos dias, Linda. Buenos dias, buenos dias, Rosie. We had an interesting show yesterday. We did have the opportunity. Good morning, Jessica. We did have the opportunity to speak with Jimmy, Vice President of the Port Isabel School Board. Jimmy's a great guy, and I'm very glad that he came on and gave us some insight in regards to what's going on in our sister city of Port Isabel. And again, it's always good to keep each other informed in regards to what's going on and a lot of the sentiments that are happening. Morning, Frankie. How you doing?
Good morning, Erasmo. How's it going, everybody? We woke up to some news that our county judge is reluctant to open up business, which has been the sentiment of the majority of the people, on the show. So we are gonna see how some businesses open up, and others decide that it's best to take other precautions, such as Wing Barn, who's doing mainly curbside. So it's gonna be a change of what we're used to. But we'll see. This is a thing that's been going, from day to day, week to week. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more clarity. The judge is to have a press conference at 10:30. So once we're done, we should hear what he has to say.
Good. So I guess we'll be waiting for Judge Eddie Trevino's press conference at 10:30. And if something really important comes up, then we'll come up afterwards. But I don't think that he's going to express anything different than what we've already been hearing in regards to opening up too soon. His being very cautious in regards to the orders that were given by the governor. But ultimately, they do have to adhere to the governor's orders, mandates, as in regards to opening small business. I think one of the things that I think Eddie was mentioning is that a lot of things that we've been saying is that he sort of tends to agree with in regards to there might be some other counties out there, other cities. Actually, I'm not really sure where I saw that, but I saw that actually in Georgia and in Florida, that some of the counties and some of the cities out there, they may be ready to do a harder opening than we are. I did read yesterday that Montgomery County here in Texas, they were just going to go straight into the phase 2, which is the 50%, and ignore a lot of the governor's recommendations and orders. Again, it's kind of a ballsy little move. It just goes to show how much power a county judge has. So again, I'm not sure what Judge Eddie Trevino's stance is going to be in regards to the orders that came out, but I guess we'll soon find out at 10:30 as soon as we're finished. So no curfew, no shelter in place. All this is going to make it worse. I think the curfew is still on. Again, I don't think that the governor mentioned anything in regards to a curfew. And again, I think that was just county imposed. So we'll see. We'll see what the judge has to say this morning. But I think we'll have a little bit more clarity in regards to what's going on.
Hey, Erasmo, did Florida and Georgia get back more positives? I think I read something like that there was an increase shortly thereafter. The two states opening up, so that may be Judge Trevino's reluctance to give the go ahead. No.
Well, I think the problem is take into consideration that a lot of these individuals who started testing positive now, had probably been carrying it for a while. Were asymptomatic. Didn't show anything out there. So again, it's kind of hard to measure that because the way that the news media tries to put it is to make it sound is like because of the opening we have these high numbers. I don't think that's the case. I think we won't know what effect the opening up of the state. I don't think that we'll get a clear vision in regards to what's going on for another 2 weeks. Does that make sense? You can't make it mandatory unless the governor says so. I understand. I think that there's a little bit of leeway that certain municipalities and certain counties are going to have, Kimberly, because again, the governor can't speak for the entire state because every county out there and every city out there are going to have something just a little bit different than others. So again,
gentlemen.
Hey, good morning, Christopher. How you doing?
I am doing good. Can you hear me well?
Oh, yes, really well.
Okay, fantastic.
We were talking about how the county judge today, was kind of reluctant and shared some concerns in regards to opening up. I don't know if you read the governor's mandate in regards to opening up starting this Friday, but the county judge.
No.
The governor put out a mandate that small business was going to be able to open up at a 25% occupancy rate, restaurants, retail, malls, different things. So people are going to be able to start, going into place.
Same thing has happened here, and the question has arisen: if you can't fill your business up to its capacity, can you even cover your overhead?
Exactamente.
Because it makes no sense. Basically, you're giving a half-assed solution to a big problem by trying. You're trying to keep everybody happy, and you can't keep everybody.
No, you're right on. And one of the things that we saw yesterday was that I think yesterday it came out that one of our local business, and I think you know this one very well, is the Wing Barn. Wing Barn came out and said, "We're not opening.
Yeah,
not even to the 25%." We're not opening because, again, what you mentioned, overhead's not there. They won't be able to make payroll. It's just not worth their time. So they're going to continue on with curbside and wait until there's certain orders for it to be open to 50%. That once they get to 50% occupancy rate, they might be able to cut through. So yeah, a lot of the business here are on their own opting not to open. Does that make sense?
It does for the simple reason that it makes no sense. If I held a business and you told me I can only go ahead and occupy a fraction of it while still having to maintain full service, what's the benefit of that? It's if you tell the HEB, go ahead and open, pay all your taxes, pay all your employees, keep on. And America's a very demanding society. So you can't tell somebody, oh, no, we don't have this available. When you're open for business, you have to have everything available. And how do you make money? How does it make sense? Actually, what it sounds like a solution for governments, not for citizens. Yeah. For the simple reason that if you open up and you got all your overhead running, who's really making the money there? The electric companies, the gas companies. Taxes are being paid, and the businessman is being drowned because he's not even allowed to bring his business to fruition. No. So really what it is a further choke. And I don't think it's made with that intention. I think that they realize that to open the economy, they don't necessarily have to benefit the businessmen, as long as they benefit the economy as a whole and keep the taxes coming in. Because when businesses are closed, taxes aren't being paid. No sales tax, no nothing.
No, and Oscar, Eduardo just let us know that Último Taco is also not going to open at 25% capacity rate. They will continue to offer the services via curbside. And let me tell you, Último Taco has been...
Yeah, but we already know that Último Taco is only going to have a bunch of fights there. I mean, it already was dangerous. It was dangerous to go to Último Taco when they were operating 100%. Now there's just going to be fights out in the streets, man. We already know how that works.
Hey, I miss Último Taco. I need to get me some.
I'm joking. The tripas, not the tripas. Yeah, the tripas and the mollejas there were fantastic. Último Taco was fantastic.
And, no chairs were harmed during the quarantine period.
Yeah.
I love Ultimo Taco. They've always been at the forefront in regards to community service, being out there for our first responders. So thank you, Ultimo Taco.
Yes.
And I appreciate that y'all are taking into consideration also, besides the financials, the safety of y'all's employees, and by, bringing them in stagnantly in regards to opening up 25%. So thank you, Ultimo Taco. Thank you, Eduardo, also for the amazing signs that you're making for our community out there. It is. I saw on CNN, the most reliable news media, not that the vaccine may be available by the end of the year. Probably not.
No, I strongly doubt it. I think most experts are saying that the lead time on a vaccine, on a functional vaccine that everybody can put their hands on, is about 12 to 18 months. I mean, I'm no expert on it, but the people who know about it,
yeah,
that's what they're saying. And the unfortunate thing about this thing is that it's proven very hard to develop antibodies to it. People who have had it have gotten it again. So it's a fallacy to try to fix one problem based on the ruler of how we fix all the other problems. Diseases don't really work like that. Most of them have a standard on how you treat it. That's why there's so many different medications for so many different types of diseases. And if you have an infection, it doesn't necessarily, if you have a urinary infection and an ear infection, it's not necessarily the same antibiotic you're going to take to take care of both. So we have to understand that we don't understand everything.
No.
And that's one thing politicians cannot afford to do, or somehow feel reluctant to do, is to say we don't understand what's going on. We don't know. And they don't want to say we don't know, so they just say the first thing that comes out of their mouth, and it usually is worse than saying we don't know.
Well, one of the things I think is important, and just to answer Eddie's question, this is Christopher Goodrich, a retired Brownsville firefighter, a paramedic, who is right now currently residing in Valencia, Spain. Good for Ultimo Taco. Thank you for caring about the people.
Hey, Eddie, the shirt is pink, but thanks for the shout out.
Ultimo Taco fights. The vaccine won't help because it mutates just like the flu shots. Yes, we agree. Well, going back into the politicians, one of the things that I honestly think, Chris, is that, I think the electorate, even here in Brazil, the electorate is changing, and I would say maybe throughout the whole country. I think that they start to appreciate politicians or people that run for office that are actually truthful to their intentions, and speak with the truth. I think people are starting to get tired of this double talk. I can tell you here in Brazil, I think people are just frustrated with the politicians that come out and pander for votes only during the time that they're seeking election. I think people are getting, and I think technology has a lot to do with it. I think they would prefer someone to come out and just, speak the truth, and suck it up, buttercup, and let's move forward.
Well, the truth, that's the thing. Whenever somebody says, Eddie Gonzales, where's the paella? I live in Valencia. Paella's everywhere, my friend. Unfortunately, Brownsville has a shortage of it ever since I left, I hear. I had basically, every time somebody says, I'm going to tell you the truth, this is their subjective spin on the facts. There's a big difference between the truth and facts. Truth is basically a fancy word for this is my opinion. Yeah. The facts are just facts, and people telling the truth and people telling facts are completely different people. People telling facts sometimes have to risk offending, sometimes have to risk saying something you don't want to hear. Yeah. If I go to the doctor and the doctor just found out I have cancer, do I want him to say, look, sir, there's no nice way to say this, you have cancer? Or do you want me to hear his truth? It's like, no, you can beat this, positivity. No, give me the facts. Give me the facts, and I'll figure out my own truth. Yeah. But when people say truth is a subjective spin on the facts, and you can spin facts in any which way. I remember my dad used to tell me in regards to, like, for example, why there's so much religious fraud. And he used to say, when you know enough scripture, you can justify just about anything. Yeah. And that's the thing. When you know enough, when you know a nicer way to say it, you can spin facts and make them into a truth that you want to lead everybody else out to say. The hardest part is there's a difference between truth and honesty. And the hardest part is being honest and saying, guys, we're kind of fucked. That's the reality. How are we going to fix this? We're not sure. We're trying what we can. Internationally, it's been accepted that a lockdown and the social distancing and the keeping large areas unoccupied has worked more than just getting in a crowd and just getting everybody infected. That is a fact. The fact is also that it doesn't necessarily mean that if you spend 2 weeks at home, this ends. If you're 100 pounds overweight, I mean, Erasmo, you went through a impressive weight loss. I lost 100 pounds myself over the last 5 years. Remember, I used to be pretty big.
Yeah, I remember.
And the minute I decide I'm going to start going on a diet and doing exercise, does that automatically, make me look like Cristiano Ronaldo? No, it does not.
No.
The truth is I'm overweight. The truth is I need to do something about it, and I have no clue how to go about it. So I'm going to try basic stuff that I hear people say works, and then I'm going to develop my own way of going about it. And this is going to be the same thing. We're going to have to go ahead and look at what the rest of the world is doing. It has gotten out of control, but it hasn't gotten out of control because of the confinement. The confinement has unarguably saved lives. It's gotten out of control because of irresponsible crowd gatherings and practices when everybody wasn't taking this seriously.
Yeah.
So people being locked in their houses, it's not like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be good now, and it all goes away. If you have $50,000 worth of credit card debt, the fact that you don't spend money in 2 weeks does not make the debt go away.
No.
Now we have to work on it. You have to not spend. You got to get money, and you got to pay it off. And this is a savings account. It's not a credit card. You can't just pay it off in one day. You got to slowly go ahead and let people do what they're doing. Let science work itself out. And let's not add to the burden, And by adding to the burden, it's complicated to say that because everybody wants to go ahead and get life back to normal. Believe me, I do. I know Erasmo's waiting to watch whatever movie's coming out. I'm sure you have plans too. We all had plans for this year. And this year has changed, and it's going to change society as a whole. It's going to change people, but we need to let it get back to normal by being conservative rather than being too bold. And the conservative thing right now is to, just kind of bunker up.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, and I'm glad you mentioned that, but I will interject something that happened yesterday, and some concerns that we received today. And again, I'm sure that out in Valencia, y'all didn't hear about it, but our school district had a budget meeting yesterday, and in the budget meeting, they started about attrition and in regards to how they were hoping to save a lot of cash by phasing out a lot of the different positions out there. And what it did, it's something that you mentioned. It's not giving us facts. It's telling us their truth based on something that they are perceiving. And I'll give you the information. I'll ask for y'all's opinion. But what happened at the meeting was they were out there showing that that we have to take some drastic measures in regards to teachers, counselors, especially counselors, custodial staff, managerial supervisory staff, maintenance staff. And what happens is there was a big old uproar. A lot of the individuals now that are already under all this anxiety and stress because of what's going on and insecurity in regards to their job, well, that just added to the mess. And a lot of individuals out there were going like, what the heck is going on? Why are they having this type of meeting in the middle of a pandemic where people are insecure about job security? And I'll finish giving what happened. Towards the end of the meeting, little Eddie and Crazy Minerva were out there saying, well, we just want to assure everyone that nobody's going to lose their job. Nobody's going to get fired. Nobody's going to lose their job. And that's just not true. That's not just not true.
Let's ask a question. And this is an honest question because the truth is I don't know the answer to it. Are people not going to pay taxes this year?
100%.
So people are paying their taxes, right? If you live in the Los Fresno School District, you're paying your school district taxes. If you live in Brownsville, you're paying BISD taxes, correct?
100%.
So the money's coming in and the services are less. What means is you don't have to feed the children. You don't have to turn on the lights. The aircon is off. So basically the money's coming in. Where's the problem?
Exactamente. And that's
where's the problem? Why do you need what's the point? Okay, children getting educated has zero effect short term on our taxes, right? It's not like a business to where if the business is shut down, you're not creating revenue. The school district revenue is sustained through taxes. So it's guaranteed. So basically, if the budget is balanced, right now costs to maintain a school district is at an all-time low, for the simple reason that there are no costs, and taxes are still coming in. Why would anybody have to make any adjustments?
Exactly.
Put them to work from home. I run a business from home. I'm an international trade broker, and you know what I sell? PPE, hand sanitizer all over the world. What? I got creative, and I actually did the opposite everybody else is doing, offered such good prices, that people are saying, wait, what? That's neither here nor there. But the thing is, why is there a budgetary problem? The budget is there, the money's coming in, and if anything, we're saving money.
Exactly. Eddie's confirming your statement, saving resources, they should have more money. And actually, that
exactly.
is problem with this BISD is Eric, you hit it on the head. And let me tell you something. And if you, the meeting is on YouTube, so it's you could trust what I'm saying, but I would prefer for you to research what I'm saying, so that you could form your own opinion in regards to the matter. But you could go to BISD on YouTube, and you could go through the meeting, and you'll notice one thing in particular. They mention custodial staff. They mention maintenance personnel. They mention counselors. They mention teachers at all levels, elementary, high school, and junior high. And I'm talking about hundreds of individuals that are going to be placed on a list. You know who they didn't mention?
A board member?
Board members. They didn't mention anyone at the superintendent's office, anyone at the Glass Palace on Price Road. Not a one. Guys, you cannot make this stuff up. The meeting.
Okay. Interestingly enough, and this affects me directly, even though I live all the way over here. Both my parents work for BISD in special education, both of them. And my ex-wife, the mother of my daughter, is a food and nutrition service manager for Pullum Elementary. So, what is the need to actually make adjustments on the budget? Are they trying to just bulk up their pockets to have more money to spend on something else?
Well, more money for Sylvia to be able to pocket more of the cash that they're taking in. And again,
do you have auditors, third-party auditors?
Well, that's one of the things that I've been requesting for the past year. Going, guys, we need an completely independent audit to go in there and find out truly where the money is disappearing. And we all know now, because of the arrest that was made in December, that Sylvia was funding a lot of the money with a lot of the help of the individuals at the Glass Palace. So the same people that helped Sylvia pocket money and take money from an undercover federal agent, the same people are not on the list to get their jobs reviewed and minimized. I mean, come on, where's the money going?
In regards to what
your sound.
Ooh, there's something on your sound, buddy.
Yeah. No, horrible.
There we go.
Nope, nada.
Dead in the water, buddy.
Hello?
Yeah,
there you go. All right.
Sorry about that. In regards to what Chris said, the taxes, they're still getting money coming in. So what's the reason to downsize? And also, weren't the custodians and the bus drivers and all those people, weren't they the ones required to be there to pass out food? And then they're the ones in the front lines, risking their lives, and then they're the first ones to get hacked. Come on, where are our priorities? Also, I do want to stress that during the simulated town hall, one of the questions, one out of the 4 questions that was answered to your compadre Erasmo, Mike Morath, was a question in regards to finances and budget. A question was asked in regards to, is the school district going to see a decrease of finances? And his answer was no. Because of the COVID-19 crisis, the district will not see a change or a loss in finances.
No.
And then another thing, Erasmo and Chris, this really bothers me. Again, a week, 2 weeks ago, after 4 weeks of this pandemic, we finally hear from the school board. And at the conclusion of that town hall, the president did assure that, hey, everybody, nobody's going to lose their job. Everything's going to be fine. And then to have this committee meeting during the heart of the pandemic, we see the number of unemployment being over 6 million in the U.S. we don't know what's going to happen. We're living day by day, hold up. And then for the school district to do this and say, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to get rid of X amount of teachers, some
Right.
counselors, it's kind of like, hey guys, this isn't the right time. Can't we
Not
wait?
only that,
Wait it
not
out
only that,
and see where it's going to go?
they know very well that if this school year is forfeit, they don't need these people till late August.
Yes.
Anybody. Exactly. So, oh no, we're not firing you. We're just going to go ahead and cut you out until business picks up again. Well, until school picks up again, which isn't going to be till August at the very, very, optimistic of projections. So what do they want to do? Just save the summer money? Instead, what they're trying to do is just, hey, let's cut everybody out and get them back on board without there actually being, there should be a surplus in the budget. They should actually take that and maybe invest in technologies that make it easier to continue education from a remote location, because you got everybody still on payroll from taxes that are still coming in, because everybody's going to have to pay their property taxes.
Yes.
Everybody.
Which increase.
Why not take the actual surplus that comes from shutting down? How many schools are in the district?
52.
52 schools. How much do you think the electricity bill? What are we probably talking? 20, 30, 40,000 a month?
No. We're talking about $100 to $200,000 a month.
A month. Okay. So that's money they've already saved. And the food. How much does it cost to feed how many? 43,000 students?
Well, the food is subsidized by the federal government, so we still have the money for the food. That's one of the reasons why they were adamant in regards to not losing that cash. But there's other money coming in, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things that came up was in regards to the custodial staff, how the custodial staff was overburdened. But I want to get to Eric's comment before we go into custodial staff. They want to slash special ed personnel at the school level. They sure as heck do. But have fregos of special ed supervisors making $150,000. Eric is exactly 100% correct.
Well,
Too many people on there. But let me go into the custodial staff. See, one of the things that was mentioned yesterday at the meeting was that per square foot, we have more custodial staff than we actually need. That's taking into consideration that some of our custodial staff is actually part of the food service department, because they clean specifically the cafeteria. Now, one of the things that was made clear yesterday that we aren't necessarily paying from the general budget our custodial staff, because we received money from a federal government to pay the custodial staff while they're distributing the food and nutrition. So there's that difference in regards to financing. I think going back to Frankie's point, I think the issue is why bring, and again, I was talking to one of the custodial staff this morning, why bring it up now? I mean, what's the urgency to talk about the budget in the middle of a crisis, in the middle of a pandemic where we haven't even yet peaked in our area, only to add anxiety and stress? Because if anyone out there doesn't understand that the custodial staff, maintenance people, and teachers are tripping out about yesterday's meeting, that just goes to show how disconnected the superintendent and the school board really are. So little Eddie's and Minerva's assurances about, don't worry, guys, it's going to be okay, your jobs are going to be there, is stupid to say the least.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's unethical. It's unethical and unnecessary. And the thing about it is, there's a term say, don't be unnecessary, don't be extra, don't do things you don't need to do. Right now, the system is stable. That's like the one system that you actually can maintain stability on, right? You got the services industry, which is taking a big hit, and maybe I mean, sure, maybe that's going to affect part of the budget, but all in all, it should be something that is stable, And until numbers come out, we won't really actually be able to see it. But at this point, look, we're getting ready for the summer. Like within a few weeks, nobody was going to be at work anyway, except for the auxiliaries and stuff. So what is the need to do this? Why do this to your citizens? Because it's not just a budget thing. It's like the BISD is the biggest employer south of San Antonio.
Yes.
bar none. It's the biggest company. What does this mean? This means that, and I can guarantee you, in Brownsville, and this is something we all know, every family has somebody involved in the BISD, whether it be a teacher, a custodian, FNS, administration. Everybody is either a teacher, the brother of a teacher, a sister, the son, the daughter, everybody. So you're talking about having something that moving and shifting, an entity that literally affects everybody.
Everyone.
Absolutely everybody in this community. And at the end of the day, Brownsville is a small community tied by this very big entity. So it's more about control than anything else.
100%.
Why is it about control? Because during times of crisis, you can get people to get very fervent about something, right? And if you were to run for any kind of political anything, one of the biggest movements in history, one of the biggest movements in political history, and this is the thing, I think they should start teaching better history. When is the biggest political movements ever happened in history? During a crisis.
Yes.
Start from the very beginning. I was educated here in Europe, went to high school and all that kind of stuff here in Europe. And the modern era started with the French Revolution, according to most people agree. That's when the first republics started being, I think it was the first republic actually got instilled, right? Off with his head. And the French Revolution started modern politics. What was happening? People were starving. People were hungry. There was famine. Go ahead and now start taking some steps further. What was another major one? The Russian Revolution. Autocratic government. People were starving. People were freezing. Well, a little bit further forward, here come the Nazis. People were starving. People were hungry. A little bit forward, and here comes the Cold War, where the Soviets took over. Why? Because Europe was ravaged by war. It was completely destroyed, and people were starving. People were hungry. And you keep on going, and you keep on going, and you keep on going. You can put this down to Cuba. You can put this down to any kind of terrible, terrible political movements tend to happen during or right after a crisis.
Yes.
Why? Because you have people's attention. I can get somebody's attention with a bag of frijoles who is starving way more than somebody who is living comfortably at offering them $100 in cash, because hungry people will just about give up anything if you promise them that much.
Exactly.
And that's why it's about power and it's about control. Why are political things so active during crises? Why is everybody the hero and has a solution, right when things are going wrong? Because when things are going well, it's hard to tell somebody that they should change something they're doing. Now is perfect.
Yes.
Now it's perfect for these people. It's the perfect storm. Number one, the uncertainty. So since nobody knows, the biggest charlatan gets the most attention. And if we can further squeeze people and spin it in the proper way, then we now have their attention. We now have control over them. And we all know that votes don't necessarily happen for a good reason.
No.
They happen for a practical one.
Yeah,
so if you put yourself in a position of practicality where everybody's doing bad and you offer a fantastic solution, you can give them this much because they have so little that it will make sense to them because they're hungry.
Yeah,
and that is what's going on. It's going on everywhere.
Everywhere, and that's one of the reasons why little Eddie and stupid Minerva, towards the end, made sure that they said, just to make it clear to everyone, just to make it clear, we're not talking about people losing their jobs. And I'm going like, you cannot be that stupid. You cannot be that dumb to truly believe that they were not talking about people losing their jobs. And again, you cannot think that the people of Brownsville are that naive to believe anything that's coming out of your mouth when you've been lying to us from the start in regards to this.
But are they not?
The what?
Are they not?
Oh, yeah, they are.
No, not people as the individual, but does it work? It usually works.
It usually works.
It usually works.
It usually, and I'll tell you, and it usually works when you don't have, and again, this is going back, guys, and one of the things that I've requested individuals in the city of Brownsville, speak up, express your voice. One of the things that I think has been missing from a lot of the people here in our area is nobody wants to take a hit. And I mean, we just lived through the civil movement, civil rights movement in the 60s, and you're talking about individuals. If you really study the civil rights movement, you're talking about people, who were being denied their rights, living in fear and retaliation, who actually stood up to the system and got arrested, lost their jobs. They had to walk to work in order to protest the bus movement. I mean, they had to walk miles from one city to another city just to go get a job that was paying them $1 a day or $2 a day, guys. And here, no one seems to want to stand up and say, hey, I may take a hit. I might get transferred to a school. And I'm sorry, teachers, it's time for individuals to stand up. And you know what? Something, Chris and Frankie, that I've noticed, that more and more teachers are becoming more vocal. And they're expressing, and that's what the city of Brownsville needs. It needs people to come up and say, you know what, guys? We won't stand for this. We don't want this in any way, shape, or form. We want to fight for our rights. And again, fighting for my rights is great. Fighting for the rights of your colleagues is even better.
And that is also a danger. There was hey, Frank, how's it going, man? Estoy bien infectado, pero de lo guapo, no te creas. Hey, Frank, it's good to see you, butter. Hear from you. Look, the thing is this. I cite history because we tend to forget it. We tend to study stupid stuff, and forget where and how the historic events of terraformed the society as they are today and where ideas come from, There's this very famous saying from a journalist during the French Revolution. And once again, if people should really read a book about the French Revolution, well, books in general, but if you have nothing else to do, read everything or watch a documentary about the French Revolution. This is a journalist that said, and he was very right about it, said all revolutions tend to devour their children. What does this mean? We see it. Civil rights revolution. Civil rights movement, the women's suffrage movement, all these things were great things that we needed. The French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, these things needed to happen. But what happens afterwards is at some point, when you succeed, how do you tell a revolutionary to go back to be a moderate and just enjoy life? Yeah. That is the problem. When you've actually, nothing kills a dream like getting there. So when you're actually fighting for the people's rights and you actually get it to them, what comes then? And that is the problem with having all these people that are saying, oh, we're fighting for you, we're fighting for you, we're fighting for you. And then you finally give them what they wanted and everybody's happy. The only way to actually keep yourself in power or remain relevant is to push and push and push an agenda, and it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if there's already a conservative way of doing things and something has to be righted, we have to make a clear distinction between operation way and fixing things way. We fix the thing, then we go back and operating the way we were before with new imposed rules and regulations that protect the most vulnerable. But the problem is, the minute anybody starts a revolution and gets it right, like Castro, they had to get out corruption, all that stuff in Cuba. Then what happened? The revolution is over, so he turns America into an enemy, makes it a complete autocratic regime. 50 years later, actually no, 70 years later, here we are, and even though that is a big scale, that's a large scale thing, and that tends to be a little okay. That's a little bit too big enough, but it really isn't. It really isn't, because you take any social justice warrior that wins, that gets his way. All of a sudden, everybody has these rights and privileges. What comes next? Nobody steps down. Nobody steps down. You had one fucking good idea. Congratulations, it worked. And then we persist with this guy, because this guy fixed the one problem one time, and it eventually leads to a corruption. So it really doesn't matter who you have there. That's why terms were implemented in politics. That's why terms should be, and any person who is elected should have a term, whether it be a board, whether it be anything else. And that sometimes it just stands to reason to say that you need to separate yourself a little bit from the movement. So that's a danger, in my opinion, of people fighting for the people. People fighting for the people. When the people win, what do they do?
That's it. The next step. I want to clarify one of the other things that was mentioned yesterday. Nothing kills a hardworking individual faster than tolerating a lazy one. Preach. One of the other things that was mentioned yesterday at the meeting, and I want to again, and I talked about it yesterday, and I want to clarify again today. One of the things is that what a lot of these individuals do, especially this board, is that it all turns it into all BS. Yeah, Janet, you're right. One of the things that they mentioned at the board was they were trying to place blame on the previous administration and then the administration after that one, because they didn't want to accept responsibility. And it was Drew that made that comment. And let me tell you, folks, Drew knows better than that. Drew knows specifically that it was Sylvia who instigated the increase in regards to having more counselors out there, because she was trying to pay off a lot of the different favors for individuals that they got screwed over. when she attempted to put in their social security numbers illegally and actually got halfway indicted for it. And I say halfway indicted because they opted to drop those charges, which probably are going to come back now with this new indictment. But with that said, again, it didn't start with the previous administration. It wasn't Dr. Sendejas' fault. Dr. Sendejas was actually trying to fix the problem that Sylvia created. It wasn't Dr. Hatton who made the mistake. Dr. Hatton was completely against overhiring a lot of the individuals because they were absolutely positively not needed. She told us this publicly. I mean, not making this stuff up, folks. So I don't know where Drew was during those meetings, but again, the one who was making the moves, the one who was dictating what should be was Sylvia, Drew. You know this for a fact because you received direction from Sylvia directly. So don't come out here and say, well, it was previous administration for us. Now we have to fix it. You can fix nothing that you yourself broke. And again, guys, we need to make sure that, you know, one of the things that I hope, and I tell people regularly, you know, don't trust anything that I say. You know, don't believe anything that I put out on social media. Do your own damn research. And what I hope to do is and to put that little seed in regards to, well, let me just go out there and check to see if the numbers that they're sharing on here are actually, you know, consistent with what is proven to be true. That's my hope, guys. My hope is that we all do, what Chris mentioned, pick up a book, do a little bit of research, go back into history, you know, don't make the same mistakes other individuals have made throughout the years. But again, I do not want people to believe a damn word that I say, not a word. I want you to do your own research and form your own opinion. But once you do the research, I'm very, very confident that you'll find out that a lot of what's been studied out there is true. Fully explain the SS numbers, difficult. People don't know. I'll explain very quickly. Back when Sylvia was in HR at BISD, Human Resources Director, she was trying to get on a committee or on a board and needed to have individuals sign a petition for her. What she did, she had access to the Social Security numbers, so she got the Social Security numbers and added them to a form. When Dr. Sendejas found out about it, she notified law enforcement and placed her on leave pending investigation. After they effected their investigation, they found out that she had actually done this. But the court system decided not to pursue the indictment against her. That is why she came back and ran for board, again, feeding on the individual's fears that she was actually going to win it. And again, my other thing is that she basically ran against no one. She had no competition whatsoever. So that is the Social Security mess in a quick 1 minute little nutshell. Good morning, Dasmo. Who can I ask if we can have a garage sale? The city of Brownsville, 546 help. I don't think it's going to happen. She looked for loopholes and bit her on the butt. She actually, bit her in a weird way. Good morning, Eric, Cindy. Violation of Privacy Act? I would say yes, definitely. I mean, again, you cannot mess with Social Security numbers. Now, take this into account, folks. It was federal agents who effected the sting operation. You know, we've got money for you, and she took the bait. Federal agents understand that Social Security numbers are part of the federal branch of everything. So anyone who doesn't think that all of it is connected is ignorant in regards to process. And again, we're learning as we go, but it is what it is. Going back to the government shutdown today, we have a meeting, press conference from Eddie Trevino, Judge Eddie Trevino. Frankie, what do you think Eddie's going to tell us?
Yes, that is correct. He does have a press conference at 10:30. I think based on the article that was published late last night, early this morning, the judge will be reluctant to open up shop. We have previously mentioned how, Georgia and Florida did see a spike in numbers shortly after they opened up for business. So that's what I anticipate. I anticipate the judge being hesitant. Again, we have heard from the community, and the majority, the sentiment of the majority has been that it's too soon. Again, Chris, we have yet down here in South Texas and Brownsville to hit our peak. According to the experts, that should be in the first or second week of May. So as of right now, I hope that Judge Trevino does wait until after the peak at least.
Well, the thing about it is you might hit a peak differently than everybody else, but the minute you start opening up the country, all of a sudden it's like opening up borders here. Borders are closed for a reason, right? So if you haven't hit your peak, and all of a sudden travel starts opening up, and you start receiving people from Florida, Michigan, from New York, here we go again, and we learned nothing. And the thing is that unfortunately people are going to, and that's something I fear that's going to happen here too. People are going to get a sense of, okay, this is finally over. And you know what? It very well might be. That's the thing. It could be. It could be that when the curve starts going down, that's it. I don't believe it will be. Most people don't believe it will be. But let's say, for example, they start opening up stuff and everybody go out and go about their regular lives. It's going to cause a sense of confidence that I think is going to be very misplaced. It's going to give people a sense of, we beat this thing, but it's very different than beating things we've beaten in the past. I mean, if you look at any struggle, usually how you fix a struggle is people come together, people go ahead and put their hands to work. This is actually the opposite. What you're asking people is to stay apart, don't do anything, actually become your own little island, and reopening stuff with just complete lack of control is going to cause an effect and instill a sense of confidence that I think will be terribly misplaced and that will have consequences. And people know it. Like, people know it. Most people know. And even the ones who are arguing that, oh, we need our freedom back, we need this, and in the back of their mind, I think they know. They just don't care. Which shows that your life was pretty poor before this started, And you can't stand to be in isolation for a little bit. I mean, you dislike yourself that much? I mean, stand to be left with your own thoughts. Are you that scared of your own solitude? So,
and that's something.
I don't know. That's dangerous.
That's something that Erasmo did mention. The mindset was that if we tell people, go back to work or open up shop, we're giving them the understanding that, hey, it's okay. You can let your guard down.
You can.
We have overcome this, so to speak. So again, it's all perception. What are we trying to convey to the people? Is it okay for them to be, going about their daily lives and not wearing masks or not wearing gloves, or you know what I mean? That was the idea behind, or that was my idea behind opening up the beaches and opening up businesses. Because we are giving them that sense of, okay, we're back to normal now. They open it up for a reason, and they wouldn't open it up without us getting past it. So I guess it's something to think about.
Well, one of the things that I think is very important is, again, and I've said it for weeks now, and I'll continue to say it. When our school district is saying, there's mandates for shelter in place, but we're going to do something totally different. We're going to go out there and distribute signs. We're going to start making plans for kids to come back to school. We're going to make classified staff come back to campus on Monday. When they start doing that, my thing is that they start implanting in the heads of our community that it must not be that bad because they're already planning to open back up. It starts putting in these seeds of conformity, going like, I mean, it's not that bad. We're going to be okay. Maybe it is a hoax. And that is when it becomes a very, very dangerous thing. When people start to be lax in regards to being cautious, then we're going to start to see chaos on our streets.
Well, it's the level of distrust in so many different areas. And of course, the lack of information, or dare I say abundance of disinformation, does not help. It doesn't help that you have people coming and saying, oh, this was created in a lab in China, or this is something to do with 5G. Or anything like that. People And people want to blame something because we don't want to accept that we are vulnerable. We're the weakest species on this planet. We, for our size and for all our might, are weaker than ants, cockroaches, and any other animal on this planet. We just don't want to accept it. We want to accept that we're all domineering and that we can force everything in the world to go the way we want through sheer might. That's not the way it works. We are at the mercy of this. We're at the mercy of this planet, you know. And if we can be killed by something as stupid as a virus, you know, it turns out this virus would wipe out humanity, not animals. It would wipe us out, and nobody wants to. Nobody wants to actually go ahead and admit in their mind that fuck, we actually are that weak. We can't control these things. And so what they want to do is come up with an excuse and a reason in their mind to completely dismiss the validity and the vulnerability that we have. You know, that we're just, you know, it just invalidates our vulnerability. It's like, no. This could have never happened. This could have only been fabricated. This could have only been done by some terrible foe. And the foe is not the virus itself. The foe is the people who either created it, misinformed us, informed us, or anything like that. It's a reluctance to accept the fact that, hey, planet threw us a curveball. That doesn't mean, you know, we need to change everything we do, but it definitely means that we need to do something about it. And if you think about it, it's a very small time in history, personal history and world history. 2 months. Oh, it's 2 months. So, wait, join White because he wants everyone to go back to work. John White.
That's John. My friend John is one of these guys. And again, I love John. John's a great guy. I love his family. I love his family as if they were my own. He knows this. We don't always agree on some things. This is one of the things that we don't agree with. And again, part of the issues with a lot of, and I tell my friends this, guys, look, guys, I understand, me personally, I understand that there's a lot of things that aren't as bad as you know, they are. We're told they are, but do I think this is a hoax? 100% not. It's not a hoax. Are people dying from this? 100%. People are dying from this. Now,
yes, they are.
If you want to go on, oh, it's a small percentage, blah 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 blah, and the flu and all this stuff. Again, that's your opinion. That's fine. But when you start preaching like Minerva Peña that this is a hoax, and this was made up by the liberals in order to destroy the economy and the Trump presidency. When you start preaching stuff like that, it is a disservice to our community. I would rather we base it on facts, and facts in regards to comparing the flu or H1N2 or anything else to the coronavirus is a disservice to the community because they are way completely not the same. Not the same. Yeah. And I love John. And again, I respect everyone's in regards to their opinion to it. It's just not the same thing. Who is the gentleman next to Frankie? That's me. Oh, that's Chris. Chris Goodrich, former firefighter for the city of Brownsville, now retired, also paramedic, who is living in Valencia, Spain, and giving us insight in regards to what's going on that side of the world. Navy just released UFO footage. There's a Superior 4.
The aliens did it. It happens every time. It happens.
I've been wanting to see. I just haven't had the time. I wanted to see the footage, but I think it's footage that we've already seen on the what's it Unsolved Mysteries on the History Channel. I love it. It's really cool.
Ancient aliens.
9-year-old tested positive. Yes, we've had a 9-year-old tested positive. We had 8-month-old.
A 9-month-old, yeah.
We had an 8-month-old individual test positive, or 9-month-old. I'm not sure. We've also had some confirmation that a teacher from one of the middle schools and a student from one of the middle schools, besides the other students that have already tested positive for it. And again, we used to be the superior species. I don't think we were superior.
We were smarter. We were smarter. We were not stronger. We never were strong.
Yeah, I think
we're intelligent.
Yeah, I think that's where
sometimes.
Sometimes I think that's one of the fallacies that come on. That you know, when you start to believe that you're actually the superior species, then here comes a small little microbe and totally disrupts history.
Happens to the lions.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon.
Chris Bacon. Talk about being blinded. She is blind by her own stupidity. there is no one, and I'm going to say this, and this is my personal opinion. There is no one more stupid, and I'll say it this way: there's no one more stupider or stupidest than Minerva, as an individual, as an elected official, and as an individual. No one.
That's quite a statement.
Yesterday she was confusing. Well, not confusing. She was calling the maintenance staff the individuals that actually clean our schools. Maintenance staff do not clean our schools. They repair our schools. It is the custodial staff that clean the schools. And I'm not making this stuff up. It's there. We had only 8 cases now. We have 10 more.
Yeah. This is how it happens.
Yeah,
Willacy County.
Oh, Willacy County.
Okay.
In Willacy County, yeah. Willacy County, they were the first one to have that. I think pre-K was the first case out in Willacy County. Willacy County, I think the problem with Willacy County is we haven't had the testing out there to truly show as to how badly it has infected. I mean, here in the city of Brownsville, we have 250,000 residents. We have yet to test 2,000 people for the whole county.
The first death was out of
the testing. The testing is going to be a problem. And now, once we're done with this part of it, I can bring some insight from that being actually in the business. It's going to be a mess.
Yes,
but yeah, I'll let you know about that in a minute.
Good. And how responsible is it to be making policy decisions when less than 1% of the population has even been tested? Goes back to the question in regards to testing. I truly think that it is not responsible because we really, and again, this is my take in regards to the situation. I honestly don't think that we completely have a grasp in regards to the COVID-19 because we still don't know what the second phase, the resurgence, what all that is going to look like. So we are and I've said it, and I'm glad that a lot of people in BISD are now saying it. We are treading through uncharted waters. True?
Well, the way of looking at this is, what do we have to go by? Previous pandemics include the Black Plague, which was 600-700 years ago. We have the Spanish flu, which was 100 years ago. So basically, we're trying to drive by looking at our rearview mirror. We have no clue where we're going, and all we know is where we're coming from. So people are comparing that, and it doesn't help. Because people are trying to say, well, if we did it this way, we'll do it that way. Right now, there's very little data. This thing is 4 months old. This thing is 4 months old. And all we've learned in the last 4 months, started in January. In December. The only thing we've learned in the last 4 months is that we are clueless. We're clueless about how to go about it. And the only thing that seems to have worked is just basically just trying to separate people because of infection. So the testing thing it's going to be a problem for several different reasons. The way the FDA and the government have managed it, it's going to cause a lot of problems. They've thrown out some things and misinformed and thrown out some statements that has caused a lot of insecurity when it comes to acquiring testing kits, when it comes to acquiring protective gear, when it comes to acquiring anything that actually might help out because some statements were made and now the country is submerged in a complete, what is it? The word, a shortage of things that you actually need. See, in order to do testing, you need a test kit. In order to do a test kit, it has to run some trials. In order to run those trials, you have to go ahead and test it, run a clinical study, get lab results, clinical results, test it on population, both infected and not. Then you have to go ahead and register it with the FDA. And once you register it with the FDA and it's gone through that, it is not approved. It's just registered through the FDA. And registering in the FDA, all it does is it says, you've presented to us your results, and these results are in line with what we would consider policy, So under the emergency mandate, only one company, one, has actually given, the approval under the emergency, and that's the company is called Celix. You can buy these COVID-19 test kits for $20 some. They're not made available to you. They're made available to clinics. That being said, the same product is being made by a fraction of the price abroad. But since some publicity has been done against the places that it's being made at, even though these people have higher certifications internationally, the CE, which is Conformidad Europea, which is the European standard of conformity, is recognized as a higher rate than the FDA. In almost any case, anything rated European is rated higher than the FDA. That's why a lot of food and a lot of drugs are not permitted in Europe, because, you know, these things are dangerous. So
Right.
the CE is a very high regarded standard. And when you get the president going on you know, publicly, and they ask him, so are we trying to source these products even if they're not FDA registered or approved under other certifications such as a CE or COFEPRIS or any of these other ones? And the president says, no, America has the best, America has the best. Guess what happens? People don't buy.
No.
When people don't buy, you have to produce everything. That's like having somebody crash their Toyota and all of a sudden saying, people, we're going to remove every single non-American car from the freeway. What's going to happen? For the first 5 or 10 years, there's going to be a very big shortage of vehicles because you cannot keep up production with the needs in such a big country. It's 5% of the world's population lives within continental United States. So you want America only to produce these things, and you want to fight a pandemic that grows by the day? While bashing other countries that, sure, you know, maybe they have some responsibilities and could have done things better, but they are producing something that you need. And all of a sudden, we've broken trust completely with other places trying to offer these things. Prices have soared to where people are paying for a KN95, which is an FFP2. For those who don't know, FFP2 is free flight phase 2, which means it has an, added protective factor of 10. They're selling for $7. $7
Crazy.
in the US. These things cost 50 cents to make. But if you're going to slander the people that are making them and bash them, guess what? You're going to be in shortage for a very, very long time. And that is a problem with the PPE right now in the US.
It is a problem. And again, it's not only a problem, I guess, is that in the bigger cities, it's a problem here in the city of Brownsville.
You're going to be the last ones to get it. FEMA you're not at the very top of the FEMA important list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of the things that we learned yesterday as well, and we'll end with this little segment because we've already been at this for an hour. It just seems like a couple minutes, but it's just since we've been on for an hour, guys. It's crazy. But guys, one of the things that we learned yesterday as well was in regards to 2 new positive cases out at Amphos. And again, we've been saying it.
Yeah, I saw that.
We've been saying it for weeks already, guys. We've been saying for weeks that a lot of these places out there need to be a little bit more responsible. And again, I don't want people saying, "Oh, you just want to talk bad about Maximus, about Southwestern Keys, about CHS." I don't want to talk about bad about them. I want them to do the right thing, and Amphos included. We had been hearing from many individuals who were working in Amphos that they were sharing concerns in regards to not being offered proper PPE. There wasn't any social distancing going on at Amphos. And we've been talking about it for weeks already. And I shared last night, and I'll share it again. I had an encounter with individuals from the higher ups at Amphos here downtown. And I talked to them, and they said, Erasmo, please, you have to understand. I go like, guys, I don't have to understand anything. I just want y'all to do the right thing. I don't want to talk about Amphos. I don't want to talk about Southwestern Keys. I don't want to talk about CHS. I don't want to talk about I don't even want to talk about BISD, the board and their functions. I don't. I just want everyone to do the right thing. It's when you don't do the right thing, you better believe that we're going to talk about it and bring awareness to what's going on. And I'm sorry, guys, everything that we had been saying in regards to Amphos, in regards to no social distancing, not offering the employees proper PPE out there, to what they were doing, everything came out to be true. And when they came out with one positive case, I said, no, guys, no. There's not just one. We know for a fact that there's more than one. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, then boom, oh yeah, we got 2. And I'm going like, no, guys, there's not possible, because the way that my page works is, okay, if I get one complaint from one individual, I say like, oh, and I go like, well, maybe these people are just being bitchy, they're just complaining without having any facts. But once I get it from 2, 3, 4, 5, the same thing, there's a problem. There's definitely a problem. And the same thing happened in regards to CHS, and then they actually went into a lockdown. And now the same things happen with Amphos. Now they're taking measures a little bit more seriously, because we're finding out that a lot more individuals have been testing positive who are actually out there working for a while, without the proper protection and being in close contact with individuals. So again, guys, it's up to us as a community to come forward and say, guys, something is going wrong. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, because no one wants to take COVID-19 back home to their children, to their grandparents or their parents out there. So we have to be a little bit more responsible. We have to be a little bit more responsible and offer all these things. And Chris, I don't know if you heard this, and I'm going to say this, and again, it's not against the firefighters, but we had an issue with some of the firefighters who had feared about testing positive and actually had to house themselves out at one of our local churches, because again, the city did not, firefighters did not provide proper care or protection for them. And again, they came out with a big old post. I didn't make this up, so it's not Erasmo's against firefighters. They came out with a post and the picture of them out in front of the church, which was BFC. I think it was BFC.
Yeah, I think that was what's his name? Davenport. He's part of your church, right?
Yeah, I can't remember, but it was a BFC, and they were out in the church. I've always liked. I think it's Father Kenny. No, not Father. Pastor Kenny out there. I think that's just the pastor. They're not fathers.
Is that the one on 511?
No, that's the one on Central Boulevard. BFC.
Okay.
Price Road, where Price Road ends, and Central Boulevard.
See, yes, okay, yeah, I gotcha.
I think it was out there, right, Frankie?
Yes.
Yeah, I was out there. And again, guys, not making this up, guys. We don't want to call people out. We want people to do the right thing, and we want, again, it doesn't serve AmFELS, it doesn't serve BISD, it doesn't serve the fire department, it doesn't serve anyone for us not to do the right thing. AmFELS don't care about their employees. It's all about the money. I had to deal with them years ago. People, we had to got burned, hurt, safety out there. Again, guys, we don't want to call people out. Pastor Kenny, that's right. Pastor Kenny, you guys get it right. And I call him Father Kenny. Hey, Josh, tell Father Kenny that I called him a father instead of a pastor.
Oops.
But again, guys, we just want people to do the right thing. It's not that hard to do the right thing. And I know that when organizations, companies have big money involved in it, they tend not to always do the right thing.
Yeah. I have a friend, I'll close off with this one. So I have a friend, you might actually know, Juan Kenningstein. He's an outstanding member of the community there in Brownsville. Juan, he's a Spaniard as well. He had this place called Haven over there on 12th Street.
Sí, Juan.
And Juan, sí.
Juan
very,
Velez?
very. No, Juan Velez, no. He's the guy with the historical preservation. It's Juan Kenningstein, another friend.
Kenningstein, yes.
Yeah. And I believe he was a dean of psychology in the university at some point. I don't know. Brilliant guy. He said something once that I, to this day, put it into practice. When in doubt, don't do it.
When in doubt, don't do it.
When in doubt, don't do it.
Great.
So if you're wondering, should I go out and should I party? When in doubt, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Wait, because you can always do it tomorrow. If you do it today, you're going to find out real quick if you should or shouldn't have. If you wait until tomorrow, you always have that chance. So that'd be a good message. Should I go out? Should I, when in doubt, don't do it.
Don't do it. Frankie, any last words, Frankie?
No, just responding to Trinidad Ibarra, Jesse's question. So May 1st, everything should be open or certain places. No, not yet. We do have the governor who is opening up shop. But again, we do have our county judge who's set to speak right now at 10:30. So he should give us a little bit more insight into how Cameron County is going to operate now with the new governor's orders that were issued. So everything right now is at a standstill. Again, guys, we're going day by day. We're learning things. We're learning new things, as we speak. So it's going to be, it's going to be a trial and error. But hopefully we all use the extra precautions and we're all responsible enough. How Chris just said, if we don't feel like we need to go, don't go. Let's be proactive about this and let's take every measure to worry about everybody's safety as a whole. Thank you, guys.
Chris, any last words?
Hasta la vista, baby. We'll catch you guys in the morning.
Valencia. Saludos desde Valencia, España.
Igualmente. Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thank you, my man. Guys, just a reminder that at 10:30, the county judge is going to be doing a live press conference. So we'll be on that to see what information he's sharing and update as he's out there stating it. With that said, also know that they're going to have another board meeting, I think next week or something, or another committee meeting, and we'll be on top of that as well. Tonight, we will be talking to I think one of the individuals that started off that adoption page, the adoption page. He's the one that started the page. And, I don't know where he got the idea, but I think his name is Alex something. But Alex is going to be on to give us more information in regards to adopt a student type of thing. Also give us a couple of insights in regards to graduation, since there's a lot of inconformity out there. A lot of people are, concerned, complaining, and giving different ideas, different options. The option in regards to adopt a student, it is an option, guys. Again, you don't have to necessarily agree with it. You don't have to even partake in it, but it is an option. It's something different. The virtual graduation is an option. It's something out there that a lot of people I find surprising, but a lot of people are very unhappy with. Again, that's fine. And so we'll let you express your ideas and your thoughts in regards to it. Again, yes, use proper PPE, not PPP. PPE, I read it wrong. Yes, please. Mask mandate. Mandate is not. You're not fined.
It's going to be optional.
Yeah, it's going to be optional. It's not fine. I would say individuals, why not keep on wearing them?
Keep the masks, but take the freaking gloves off.
Please.
The gloves are not protecting you. Virus can live for longer on your gloves than on your freaking fingers.
Please.
Take some hand sanitizer. Stop wearing gloves, because what you're doing is just making it worse. Yes to the masks. Lose the gloves.
Guys, I carry this with me. It's Germ Block for Health. I carry it with me.
It costs $300.
Yeah, I carry it with me everywhere, and I'm selling it for $500. Guys, I carry this everywhere. Gloves, please. We showed it. We showed a video about cross-contamination. Please do not wear the gloves back and forth like a crazy person. Please.
Yeah.
Guys,
look, yeah. See you guys. Catch you tomorrow.
Great rest of the day. We'll be back tonight at 9 p.m. Please subscribe to YouTube channel. God bless. Take care. Hasta la vista. Good night.
Cheers.